Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return for domestic league action, and I'm going to tell you something right now. All of my plays have a plus number in front of the price, okay? I'm doing no minuses, plus money only, baby. Stick around. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch! Balotelli, Aguero!
Well, we're here, Jordan. We're back for domestic league action after a European week that saw some upsets. I don't know, some interesting matches, some comebacks, some attempted comebacks at least. But it was pretty fun, Jordan. How was your midweek?
It was okay, Dev. We turned in a winning show. That's, I'm happy about that. As long as we turn in a winning show, it was a good week. I have some bet aches, I have to say. I went 2 and 3.
before you get to those, you can thank me for the winning week, can't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You doing the heavy lifting in the midweek, cashing some plus money plays, and now you've gone all plus money apparently on this show.
One thing I can't stand is having a winning record, Jordan. Got 3 winning shows in a row. It's time we start upping the prices on some of these.
Can't stand a winning record, so you need to end it. That's what you're saying? By taking these swings. So you did the heavy lifting there. I went 2 and 3, Dev. On another day, could have been 5 and 0. This is the most irritating card that I've had in a while. I lost my Atletico Madrid play on a single shot. I got hooked again. Back-to-back weeks.
You again. Yeah,
hooked me again. 14 shots. I needed 15. What was the other one? Galatasaray. Needed them to score a goal. Just score a goal, which they did twice in extra time. Couldn't do one in the 90. What else did I have that irritated me?
Galatasaray were desperate to get eliminated. They didn't even show up at all. They're so lucky.
And we saw a lot of that. Yeah.
Juve got a red card. We did see a lot of that, and I want to keep that in mind for the next round of second legs. Like some of these teams with big leads didn't show up at all, like Leverkusen, who I was on.
That's right. Leverkusen, Dortmund, complete no-show in Bergamo. I know what I was irritated about. I needed PSG to score in both halves. Bradley Barcola hits the inside of the crossbar, goes out. Classic. So, I was irritated. But, Dev, thankfully you had a nice week. And combined, we turned in a winning show. So, look, can we do that again? Make it 4 winning shows on the bounce. I don't know. Might be the first time all season, but hey, we're finding some form.
Yeah, finding some form at the right time. And I think as these teams have sort of passed the transfer window now, they can settle the squads down a little bit. Maybe we get a little better handle on them. We've got some big games this weekend, Jordan, some fun games. We've got Arsenal-Chelsea. We'll get to that. Big title race decider there. We've got your West Ham fighting relegation against Liverpool. That should be fun. Man City traveling to Leeds. But we're actually going to start this one over in the Bundesliga. We're taking a look at Der Klassiker, which is an American moniker, which has been added to this match. I like it, though. I'm fine with it. Der Klassiker. Yeah, we see Borussia Dortmund hosting Bayern Munich. This one has Dortmund as home dogs of a full goal +1, and the total is set at 3.5. Jordan, but both teams to score here is yes, -250. So the bookies think Dortmund's going to get on the board here, and getting that full goal is pretty appetizing at home. But what do you think about this matchup? I guess I should also say here, you mentioned Dortmund no showing in the midweek in the Champions League. But these teams are 1 and 2 in the Bundesliga table, although it'll definitely take a Dortmund win here to close that gap and have a shot at a title race at the end of the season here. But what do you think about this one, Jordan?
Yeah, that's kind of where my thinking is going for this one, Dev, is that Bayern, who have had this week off to prepare for this, in the locker room, Vincent Kompany is going to be saying, listen, win today and the title's wrapped up. We can go focus on the Champions League. Win this match, we're good. And I think they'll be locked in and focused on doing that. They don't really have much fear taking on Dortmund historically. They probably have seen all the headlines that, do we have a title race in the Bundesliga? Is there a hint of a title race? This Klassiker is going to be huge. So I think the Bayern mindset here is going to be like, no, it's not huge. This is going to be business as usual. We're going to come in here and crush them, and then that's another title in the bag. Turn our attention to the Champions League that they just crashed out of like complete losers, complete no-shows with the 2-0 lead. So, yeah, now Dortmund on the other side of this, they have to pick themselves up and go again. Got to travel back home, get ready for this match against, the big brothers of the league, continually punch down on them. Getting a full goal might be the biggest spread we've seen for the Dortmund home leg in this fixture in quite a while in recent seasons. You said it, both teams score yes, minus 250. Look, Bayern aren't clean sheet masters, certainly not in this matchup. It's the late kickoff in the Bundesliga on Saturday. We know how home teams do in this one. So, yeah, I think Dortmund probably get on the score sheet in this one. Do they cover the +1? It's possible, but I just think it's almost a certainty that they lose this match as long as Bayern are locked in and play their game. So this starts with a Bayern win for me, Dev, minus 163, a little too chalky. So I'm going to go Bayern -1. I'm going to take the spread where it's lined. It's even money, great price. As long as they win the game, I'm in no trouble. And, you play this game a bunch of times. I think more often than not, there's an argument to be made that Bayern win by margin.
Yeah, Jordan, I think that's a great play. I mean, any way you look at this, you got to start with Bayern to win the game. I mean, Dortmund, we want them to be in a title race. We want them to show up, but they just never do. I heard somebody, I think it was on the continent, talking about how people describe Tottenham as being Spursy, where they blow things, they blow leads, or like last minute, they just do dumb things. And they're like, well, there's kind of being Dortmundy, where we know, they lost the league when they had the game and they just had to win on the last day of the season a couple years ago. They go in with a 2-goal lead to Bergamo and they blow it 3-2. They don't show up in the big moments. And it's too bad because we want the Bundesliga to be not just a one-team league. But that's just kind of how it's shaped up recently. And Bayern having a full week off going into this game is just such bad news for Dortmund, who are banged up. So their back line is a mess. My guy, Julian Ryerson, my boy, I'll never forget his heroics in the first leg of the Champions League, cashing an assist prop for me. He's suspended for this one. Nicholas Sula, Emre Can, Schlotterbeck, they're all doubtful in the back line. So you're going to have probably that same back line that played against Atalanta. It's Vladimir Anton, Luca Reggiani, great name, Remy Bensebaini, but you're missing Ryerson. This could be bad. This could get ugly for him. I worry. So there's a number of ways you can play this. So that Bayern team total, Bayern to score thrice here with all those injuries for Dortmund at +110, +120, it says on the card here. That's really good value. I looked at that for a while. Then it doesn't matter what Dortmund does. You can just get Bayern to score 3 times. Bayern to win and over 2.5 goals. I saw it -120. You might even get a better price shopping around. Or Bayern -1, like you said, the free hit. I decided to go greedy, get the best price on the board. It's Bayern and both teams to score parlayed is +150. So I like that as the best price on there. You just think with that back line being banged up and all the firepower going forward, Bayern's probably could put up like a crooked number here. Can Dortmund score? That's what I'm worried about now. Now they don't have any injuries up top. Guirassi's still firing. Bayer, the guy's last name, has been quite good as well in that sort of like 10 position. Adeyemi came on and helped get their goal in the midweek. So they've got options up top. Hopefully they can get a goal here because I have a feeling Bayern's going to put up like at least 3. So for me, it's Bayern and both teams to score +150, Jordan.
Yeah, Deb, well, let's hope they do get the 3 and we get 3-1. That would be favorable to both of us.
Yeah, hell yeah, Jordan. Well, I've got a long comment here I'm going to pull up. If you guys are watching this live, wherever you are in the chat, go ahead and drop us a line. Tell us what you think about these plays. We'd love to hear from you. We've got Damon Bond here saying, "Good evening, Sharps. Still learning and glad to be here." Okay, we're all still learning. You know, it's a lifetime of learning. If time, can you squeeze in a word about opening line value this late in the season versus waiting to see health for the UEFA/final lineups? I think he means before the draws happen for the Champions League, right? Like getting the opening lines for those, or maybe right after the draw when they do drop those opening lines. In my opinion, if you see a line that you like or you think is mispriced when those openers come out, I think you should jump on it as soon as possible. Because if it's your instinct, then there's probably a high likelihood that it's going to move away from you and get worse. Now, we've also been in the situation where we've beaten ourselves, George, where we will take something early and then it gets better. It would have been better for us to wait. So it can happen.
It goes both ways.
Is a general rule, if you're taking overs, you want to take them early. If you're taking unders, you want to take them as late as possible. Although it might be a little bit different in soccer. That's kind of like NFL, NBA thinking. It's a little bit different in soccer when you think about some of these Italian teams, you know, playing defense and taking unders with them.
Yeah, it really just depends. It goes both ways all the time. We do our show a couple days out from when these matches take place, so it happens all the time that we get positive closing line value, and we also get negative closing line value all the time. So that's the same thing as the opening, right? You might have some value on the opening, or it might be negative. It just depends what the market does and how the narrative goes. But if you are talking specifically about the UEFA final, waiting to see the lineups, mention that again in the chat to specify more what you're talking about, and we will circle back to that at the end.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping in the chat. For those of you who are watching live or listening to this or watching this right now in whatever current time you're in, if you could drop us a like or even a follow, a subscribe. If you want to be really generous, throw out a review, hit the little bell to get notifications when we do go live next time, because there's a lot more soccer coming, baby, and we do appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. And now let's move to the Premier League. Jordan, we're taking a look at Arsenal against Chelsea. This one, big for the title race, Jordan. Classic top six teams here. We got Arsenal, okay, -1 at home. The total set at 2.75. Now, look, these two teams recently met in the EFL Cup semifinals, where they played over 2 legs, Arsenal winning both of those matches. But now maybe there's going to be a little more pressure. Also, we should mention this game kicking off on Sunday, Man City playing on Saturday, so they may have a little bit more. If City are able to win, they'll put even more pressure on Arsenal, and maybe we'll see that start to ratchet up in the pressure for them. But, Jordan, what do you think about this matchup kicking off late on Sunday?
Well, Dev, I think that Arsenal should find themselves pretty confident ahead of this one. They just crushed Spurs their last time out over the weekend 4-1, which maybe is not a huge accomplishment, right? But after they played that draw with Wolves in the midweek right before that match, you know, the narrative shifted. Oh, Arsenal, are they going to bottle it again? Here comes Man City. Oh, Arsenal just dropped points to the worst team in the league. What's going to happen? Now they got a North London derby, new manager for Spurs. It wasn't a problem. Crushed them. Didn't matter. So I think they'll have a little sigh of relief, a collective sigh of relief. And finally, Arsenal get a full week off. They haven't had that in a long time because they did have to play that Premier League match in the middle of their Champions League bye. So finally, they get a little breather here. And with the confidence they have, maybe it was a good week off. I'm sure Arteta gave them a few days off and they can rest, relax, maybe bring a couple guys back that have been dealing with knocks or been playing through knocks. So I think they'll come into this with confidence. They have a great record at the Emirates. Their striker, Gyökeres, is finally scoring goals. He looks like a problem now. And
really nice goal against Tottenham, that first one. Just belted it.
He was a problem. And I think he's going to be a problem in this match too, Dev. Chelsea a little banged up in the back line. Fofana out for this one. Cucurella still out. So that's not ideal. And even with those guys in, Chelsea have been leaky as hell. We've talked about it on this show before under Rosenior. They do not keep clean sheets. It's just not what they do. Small sample size, but we did get to see them play 2 matches, as you said, in the EFL Cup. Very different matches. The first one, Rosenior had a game plan where they ended up going toe-to-toe with Arsenal. The second one, weirdly passive, despite being behind in the tie to concede, and it didn't work out. So I was with here. I'm not sure what the game plan is going to be, but either way, I feel like Arsenal is going to have too much for this Chelsea team. They have an excellent record against Chelsea, 11 straight unbeaten. Pretty daunting if you're Chelsea coming here to the Emirates. So again, like I said with the last match, Arsenal on the money line is where this starts for me. But again, like with the last match, a little too juicy. So I'm just going to play it where it's lined, -1 once again, plus 103. I'll take that as long as Arsenal don't lose, or as long as Arsenal win the match. I'm not losing any money once again. My original play was going to be Arsenal and under 4.5 goals because I thought, is there a chance they just win this 1-0, something like that? And then I push, but I don't want to complicate it here. I think there's every chance they could win this by a margin, especially if Chelsea decide to play a basketball match with them. So -1 for Arsenal on the handicap, plus 103.
Yeah, Jordan, I looked at that one as well. I think that's probably, this feels like the bookies are getting a little ahead of themselves. Arsenal to win here at -167. Yeah, that's too juicy for us on this show, but that's not a bad piece. I mean, they should win this game. They took care of Chelsea through 2 legs in that EFL Cup. The previous one at Chelsea earlier this season was a 1-1. So I thought about maybe just going under here, but the first leg of that EFL Cup scared me. It's like under 2.75. We talk about this all the time. Big 6 clubs, they get together and it just goes under. And then you add in the Arsenal of it all, and it definitely feels like it could go under. But Arsenal have seen over 2.5 in 8 of their last 10 matches. And Chelsea have seen both teams score in 6 of their last 8 matches. But head-to-heads, under 2.5 in 4 of 5. So I went with a little bit of a different play here. I wanted to get the under on side because I feel like, and honestly, it kind of depends what City does, right? Like if City doesn't win, then I feel really good about my play. If City win, it gets a little bit more scary because I feel like Arsenal just feel the pressure and you can see them kind of cracking. And that's the narrative, right? We've seen that now for a few years. They keep finishing second in the EPL and blowing the lead. And like when they scored the first goal against Tottenham and they were all celebrating, Declan Rice was like performatively being like, no, focus, we gotta do it, everyone get together, and then immediately like gives the ball away and Tottenham score, which was kind of funny. And he's like, well, I spent a little too much time trying to pump you guys up. Should have listened to himself. But you can just see that like they know this and it's sort of on their mind. And then Arteta, Chelsea are not dangerous in the back, as you mentioned. And without Cucurella, they're going to be like a lot less formidable back there. Although I think Reece James will start. He does a good job. But you want Cucurella in that back line. So maybe this ends up being pretty cagey for a while, with Arsenal wanting to like suss it out, see what Chelsea's game plan is here. Rosenior's now had a bunch of matches against Arteta. How does that factor into this? Because Chelsea have been kind of slipping in form lately. They have not looked great. Arsenal basically taking care of business. But yeah, so I went with a weird play here, Jordan. I took draw halftime because I think this could be 0-0 at half. So it sort of correlates with the under. And then, you know, the draw, I at least will get the 1-1 on side if it does pop off with some goals. In the first leg of this, we only saw 1 goal in the first half, even though the game ended with 5. In the second leg of the EFL Cup, no goals in the first half. In the earlier one this season that ended 1-1, I believe there was no goals in the first half, but I have to check that again. So I think we could get the draw halftime here. It's plus 140. Taking another swing here. Yeah. So draw halftime here, Jordan, plus 140.
All right, sir. Good luck to you there. Let's hope it's a draw halftime and Arsenal go on to win the thing in the second half.
Hell yeah. Let's move on. We've got Leeds United against Manchester City. This one sees Leeds as home dogs of a full goal plus 1 and the total set at a flat 3. Jordan, Man City, they got to get points here. They're coming for Arsenal, right? They got to get the 3 at Ellen Road. What do you think about this matchup on Saturday night?
Yeah, Jeff, I was thinking about how like being second in the title race, being the chaser, is actually probably more fun mentally, right? Because you're not at the top. There's no pressure to like looking over your shoulder. Someone's coming. You go, oh, can't mess up. When you're just chasing, you're hunting down. You're like, just keep winning these games. We can get them, guys. Like, it's such a great motivator. It's almost like Arsenal would, like, they got too far out ahead each of these last few seasons. And it's like, why couldn't City have started faster and we were chasing them? I think that's like where Arsenal would like to be right now. But they're not. And so Man City, as the chasers, I feel do have less pressure. And it helps that they've been here before. They've done this time and time again. Arsenal's only experience with being in these title races is bottling it at some point towards the end of the season. So you can see where the mentality of the teams come into play here. City's just going to do their thing, keep on purring, keep on picking up wins. This isn't an easy assignment, though, I have to say. In terms of the matches, I think I'd probably right now, funny as it sounds, rather be Arsenal hosting Chelsea than City traveling away to Leeds, which maybe on the face of it sounds kind of ridiculous, but the way Leeds are playing right now, they're a problem. And they're a physical team. They're a team with belief. They're a real problem at Ellen Road. What does City struggle with that we've seen this season? Physical teams that don't give a fuck, that don't care that you're Man City. They're going to keep going at you. And Man City's weird second half performances have been kind of a worry, I'd say. They really just drop off after halftime. I'm not sure if it's complacency or Pep waits too long to make changes. That's been an issue with him before. I'm not sure what it is. So if City get up early in this one, I wouldn't think that the game is over. We've seen that plenty of times. And we've seen Leeds be the comeback kids all season long. Most recently, I think they were 2-0 down against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Came back to draw that 2-2. So City have to be careful with this one. It's trickier than it seems on paper. And because of that, I've left it alone here. I do think that betting-wise, you probably should go with City. Look, the first 3 matches we've talked about here have a favorite at about minus 163 to minus 167, all getting lined at the -1 on the handicap. So similar vibe here, but this one I decided to leave alone because it's too much of an unknown quantity for me. Leeds at Ellen Road, kind of safe now from the relegation scrap, though not entirely, not mathematically, playing their hearts out, and we've seen what they can do. So I passed on it, but it should be a fun game, so I'm kind of annoyed I don't have a play.
Yeah, you said, I agree with everything you said. You said it's going to be a fun game, and that's kind of where I'm going with my play here is both teams to score in over 2.5. It's even money. This game's lined at 3, and both teams scored no, minus 150. I'm sorry, both teams score yes, minus 150. So the bookies think there's a reasonable chance both teams get on the score sheet. And when you look at the head-to-heads for these two, it's like goals everywhere. 3-2 earlier this season at Man City. Last season you had a 2-1 and a 3-1. So we've seen over 2.5 in 6 straight meetings. And both teams have scored in 5 of the last 7 head-to-heads between these two. Now, City have won 5 in a row. So I do think I would lean that way. But this has banana skin written all over it, like slip-up spot for Man City. And I heard an interesting stat I wanted to give here. Leeds are unbeaten in their last 25 league games at night. This one kicks off 5:30 p.m. local time, so I think it'll probably be dark by then. Either way, it'll be nighttime as the game extends. So Leeds unbeaten in 25 league games at night. Something.
It's something.
It's a little crazy. But yeah, Jordan, I'm just going goals here. Getting the both teams to score in 2.5 at even money when the Asian total is set at 3, I think is pretty good value. So I'm happy to take that there. And Jordan, I'm throwing in a long shot prop here. It's a fun prop. So Erling Haaland, we think of him as a goal scorer, but his goal scoring prices, like anytime goal scorer, is pretty prohibitive. It's like minus 180 or something. So I'm looking at Erling Haaland to assist plus 550. Greater than 5-1 odds for Haaland to get an assist. Now you say, well, he doesn't get assists. Well, he's assisted in 3 of his last 4 games. And the way that Pep has been playing him and Marmoush up top in a sort of dual striker partnership, I think it's giving Haaland an opportunity to sort of change his game where he's able to distribute a little more. And then you throw in Semenyo in there too, and you got a lot of pace running off of Erling Haaland, giving him an opportunity to slip in some of those through balls and key passes. So I think at plus 550 for something he's done 3 of the last 4 games, it's worth a stab, especially when you can't play his goal scorer props. There's just, you can't touch him. So you got to look for value elsewhere. And I think this assist market, it might be something. So long shot here, plus 550, but let's go, baby. I'm gambling.
I was just laughing because you were like, well, you can't play his goal scorer props, so you got to get something. It's like, well, as we say on the show, Dev, the bookies have to make a line for everything. We don't have to play every bet. You don't have to have something on Erling Haaland. But I will say this, Dev, I like the way you're thinking here. I'm looking at his stats right now in the Premier League. 23-24 season, he had 5. 24-25 season, he had 3. And this current season, 25-26, he has 7. So maybe there is something to what you're saying. He's exceeding those, especially he's got 3 in the last 4 games. At plus 550, why not?
Why not, Jordan? Why not? And speaking of why not, let's move over to Anfield, shall we? Where we're taking a look at Liverpool hosting your West Ham United. And you got the shirt on. I like that kit with just the gold hammers with the X. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, solid kit here. 125th anniversary shirt.
Nice. Okay. Guy's a fan. Liverpool here, big favorites at home. Minus a goal and a quarter on the Asian handicap, and the total is set at 3.25. Jordan, Liverpool squeaked by against Nottingham Forest, which is happy for you, which is good for West Ham in their relegation fight. And West Ham, I believe, heartbreakingly dropped points at the end of their match.
No, it was just a 0-0. So
just a 0-0, right? Couldn't get over the line. Anyway, what do you think about this matchup here, Jordan, with really everything to play for? Liverpool still needs to make sure they get into the Champions League, and West Ham just fighting relegation at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, Dev, it should be a good one. Historically, West Ham traveling to Anfield is, just a write-off. You don't get anything from the match. It's just not going to happen. Liverpool beat you at Anfield. And maybe that'll be the case here again. It certainly wouldn't shock me. West Ham fans are not circling this one on the calendar as a place to pick up points for the relegation scrap. But you mentioned the Forest game. West Ham will take some confidence from that because absolutely Forest were the better team. Now that was at home at the City Ground. But still, Liverpool looked pretty poor in that one. And, I wonder, right? Like we talk about how VAR came in and maybe remove some of the big six bias that the Premier League had for a while, where refs are trying to find ways to get the big 6 teams over the line in tough matches. But boy, did it kind of feel like the big 6 bias is still alive and well in that one. They just kept these tight offside calls with Liverpool finally going into stoppage time. We'll just give them this one. Right. Boy, the second one looked even more dubious than the first one did to me. That one ended up standing. But as you say, I was happy about it as a West Ham fan because we need Forest to be dropping points. But on the balance of play, I was gutted for Forest because they deserve something from that game. I just hope West Ham can take some confidence from that and try and play a similar game here. Liverpool, if you go at them, we've seen it all season, they can be got at. So it just depends the type of game you play. I don't often play my team on this show, Dev. When I do, it's when we're getting big spreads like this. I think the spread's too big. I thought it might be +1. They're giving us that little baby hook there. You can even play this at plus 1.5, minus 129, like that. Dev, I talked about on the show before when West Ham have been putting in good performances, only one defeat in the last 8. And that's good form, no matter how you slice it. In a relegation scrap, yes, but a lot of that is down to how poorly the first half of the season went. In recent times, playing well, not playing like a relegation side. In the form table, they sit in the top 5. So, based on form, they're ahead of Liverpool right now. Based on the real table, far behind. This should be an interesting one, Dev. The one thing that makes me nervous is that everyone seems to think West Ham can get something from this match, and that is never good. That terrifies me. But I have to kind of push that noise away and I just think the spread's too big. I thought long and hard about taking the first half spread, West Ham double chance first half, plus a half a goal, because as I've talked about on the show a lot, we have no bench. There's no one to change the game. West Ham starts strongly, but then they tire, and that's when things get dicey towards the end of matches. So Liverpool have a lot of guys they can bring on to freshen up the game if it's not going well. So I did consider that, but decided to get the big part of the spread on my side. Plus 1.5 feels like too much. Minus 129, that's fair enough. That's where I'm going. But I double dipped, Dev. I wanted to capitalize on that first half. West Ham starting games well, and the price was too big to ignore. West Ham to score the first goal, plus 187. This is something they do a lot. Shock teams with how fast they come out. And I think showing, as I said, this isn't one circled on the calendar. They're not expected to get anything. I think they'll play with some confidence here and just try and do their best. I think they could come out, catch Liverpool cold, score that first goal. Plus 187 felt worth taking a stab at. They've done this plenty of times this season. We've dropped more points from winning positions than any other team in the league. 20 points from winning positions. So West Ham often going ahead, just not keeping that lead.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Love that one, because I think this does set up well for what West Ham can do playing on the counter. They can be deadly on the counter. And look, I mean, Liverpool, we're kind of ready to crown them. Even I last week on the show was saying how like they're really coalescing into being a quality team, but I think we're just sort of assuming it's Liverpool. Like they figured it out. Like all season we've been wanting them to be so good. But it's not that long ago that they were drawing Burnley at home, drawing Leeds at home. That was in January. So it's doable here for West Ham to get a point out of this. And so you're giving me a plus a goal and a quarter on the Asian handicap, plus 103. When I saw this, it moved to even money, or maybe it was just a different book. So this may be moving towards that West Ham number because it's just too big. This should be closer to 1. If it moves to 1.5, I'd be all over that for West Ham. That's a buy. But yeah, and you mentioned West Ham's performances. They have 1 loss in their last 6 matches, at least in the Premier League. So yeah, I think they can. I think they can get something here. And giving me a goal and a quarter is just too good a value. They can lose the game. I can still cash half the bet. So that's just an auto play for me. And then I double dipped as well here, Jordan. I'm taking another player prop here. I talked about the counterattack. When I've watched West Ham, and you've watched them a lot more than me, but maybe you can back this up. It seems like Crescencio Somerville is like their danger man. Like Bowen's sort of the out ball when they need to get out from playing in their block. But when they need to create something in possession, it's like get the ball to Somerville, let him cook. So I've got Crescencio Somerville. Great name. Just to have a shot on target, over 0.5 shot on target in the game is plus 120. I like the price on that. He's done this in 5 straight games. So, you know, he's got a green light. He's been hot. And yeah, I think he can get at least 1 shot on target here. Plus 120.
Yeah, Dev's not a bad play at all. I can back you up on that. He has certainly been the informed player for the side in recent weeks. And it's probably no coincidence that better performances are coming with that. You got to have guys that are delivering. And it's coming from other places too, but he is certainly the danger man, as you said it. Dev, we got some more chat going on here. Damon clarified for us what he was talking about. Said, sorry, I didn't clarify. Meant to ask about opening lines in league play with the teams still remaining in UEFA. Also tacked on health and waiting until lineups posted. So I think what he's saying is the teams that played in Europe in the midweek, how long do you wait to see if there's going to be a rotation in those lineups, stuff like that. I honestly think if you have a lean and you want to bet something, play it before you know the lineups, because when lineups come out, that's when you quickly see prices and things change like that. Obviously with player props, but on main market lines as well. The other thing I would say to you, Damon, jump in our Discord server. Link to join in the description. We talk this kind of stuff all the time in the Discord, and we can get a little more in depth with it. We also have Major Gains back in the chat saying Leeds over 0.5 goals, Burnley over 0.5 goals, and Wolves over 0.5 goals might be a nice parlay piece. Yeah, a bunch of shit teams to score. Yeah, okay. I could see.
Well, I've got Leeds to score, so I'm with you on that one. Let's hope that happens. But yeah, parlaying them all together. Everyone's their own type of better, you know. We all do our own. We all do our own plays.
Yeah, I've bet worse things. I'll tell you that.
So yeah, you're telling me. Well, George, let's move on. We got one more EPL matchup, and it's Manchester United hosting Crystal Palace. This one sees United as home favorites of a full goal, -1. Total is set at 2.75. George, we can't get enough of these -1 lines. It seems like if everyone just took the +1 on all of these underdogs, I feel like you'd end up, well, I don't know. We laid out some big favorites. I don't know, George. What do you think about this matchup? Palace traveling to Man U.
They're all going to be pushes. That's what it's going to be. Pushes either way. Dev, look, Man U, I talked about the form table and how West Ham sit in the top 5. You know who number 1 in the form table in the Prem is right now? Manchester United.
Hell yeah.
This team can't stop picking up points. All right. And in Benjamin Šeško, coming off the bench, scoring winners, scoring equalizers, they've got a modern day Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming off the bench. This guy's never going to get a start because he's guaranteed to score as an impact sub. Ruined his career by scoring late goals for Man U. Like what I'm seeing from them, I have to say, they look good. They look dangerous. Michael Carrick seems to know what he's doing. I'm wondering how soon we start hearing the contract extension talks, though. He's not actually just going to be an interim. We're going to give him time. We'll see. Just depends on who's available in the summer and if they want to make a move for one of the big names. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Looks pretty good. Palace on the other side of this, Dev, didn't get to rest in the midweek like Manchester United. They played today in the Conference League. They had to take care of business for being down to some team that we've never heard of before, because the Conference League has those teams in it, and Palace should never have even been playing in the playoff round. They are the favorites to win this thing and had to scrape by in the playoff round. They did get through, but they have a bare bones squad. Like, most of those guys are all going to have to go again. Quick turnaround, go to Old Trafford here. Their coach has already got one foot out the door. It's a complete shambles over there. I think this is pretty clearly a Man U win. We talked about all these -1s. Man U, the shortest of those on the money line, -175. The others were about -163, -167. So we are still getting that -1 here, despite a bigger money line. I'm going to take it. I think they win this game. Again, like with Arsenal, I thought Man U and under 4.5 might be a way in here, or Man U to win and Man U to have the most shots. They do take the most shots per 90 of any team in the Premier League. That's coming in at -125 if you wanted to take that play. But I've decided to not complicate it. Once again, Dev, take it where it's lined. As long as they win the game, I push out, et cetera, et cetera. But I think you play there's a chance that Crystal Palace don't score in this one. They have not looked great in front of goal, not scoring a lot of goals, seen a lot of unders in their matches. So Man U win to 0, be some nice plus money there for you. But I'm just going with the -1, hoping they can win this by margin, maybe a 3-1, 2-0 kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Palace games going under, and that's the way I'm going, George. Just right where this is lined, 2.75 plus 103. Under the total here, we've seen under 2.5 goals in 3 straight Man United matches and 5 of the last 6 Crystal Palace matches across all comps. the reverse fixture of this earlier in the season ended with a Man U 2-1 victory at Crystal Palace. But even at home, it doesn't seem like Man U is really lighting teams up as much. I think teams are a little more wary of them now. You know, when Carrick came in and took over and they beat Man City 2-0, it was like, holy shit, this team's good. Then they turn around, they beat Arsenal 3-2. And it's like, oh, wow, okay, we got to watch out for them. So I feel like teams have pumped the brakes a little. Now, look, their last 3 unders were all against Everton, West Ham, and Tottenham. So not exactly scary teams going forward. But that's kind of where we're at with Crystal Palace now, too. They did get Daniel Munoz back, which I think is a huge plus for them. Their right wing back, they need him at both ends of the pitch, quite frankly. So, yeah, this one, I think this could be pretty stale. A little bit of a boring back and forth here, a lot of defense. So I like that under 2.75 at plus 103, Jordan.
Right on, Dev. Right on. And we've got Damon back in the chat saying he will check out the Discord. And Man U -1 free hit. That's right, indeed, Damon. We call that the free hit. A lot of free hits on my cart this week.
We've seen it. We're seeing that line. We're seeing a lot of those. Well, Jordan, it wouldn't be a Soccer Sharps podcast if we didn't hit other leagues in Europe. This is not just an EPL show. EPL heavy, but we've got another matchup over in the Serie A. We're taking a look at Roma hosting Juventus. This one sees Roma as quarter goal favorites at home, and the total is set at the low Serie A, the 2.25. With all the juice on the under. We love to see it. What do you think about this one, Jordan? Can Juventus bounce back here? Roma got all week to rest. Juve had to have that crazy extra time match where they were down to 10 men for a large portion of it. Now they got to turn around, go to the capital, Rome, and a matchup that's very important. Juventus almost must win this. They're 4 points behind Rome. They're currently 5th in the table. Roma is in 3rd. What do you think about this one here, Jordan?
Sorry, Dev. I got distracted there. What do I think about this one, Dev? No, I don't think Juventus can go again this quickly. They just took every ounce of their being as a collective team in the midweek to go toe-to-toe with Galatasaray, going down to 10 men, finding goals despite being down to 10 men, just giving everything, and then getting crushed at the end in extra time. Deflating mentally, deflating physically. We don't need to get into it on this show, but that was the most bullshit red card I've ever seen.
Oh, my God. It was, what are we doing?
Yeah, it was just
Game's
ridiculous. Game's gone. Also, he had Lloyd Kelly jumps so high. I was so stunned by his hops.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, I think this plays perfectly into Roma's hands. Look, they took care of business in their European competition, didn't have to go in the playoffs. So they had a nice week off preparing for this game. And they've been a problem lately. This team's really good. Only conceded 16 goals in the league. Easily the best defense right now. Juventus, we know how leaky they are. We've seen it. I think Roma, despite not scoring a lot of goals in their matches, I think this is one where they might. That team total over 1.5 at plus 150 did catch my eye, but this is kind of a show of pragmatism for me here, Dev. I'm just kind of taking things where they're lined, or if it's playable, moving them in my favor. Roma -1/4 here on the handicap. At plus 110, that allows you to move this to draw no bet or 0.0, pick 'em on the Asian handicap, and that's coming in at -118. That's fair enough. As long as Roma don't lose at home here to a depleted Juventus team, I'm safe. So that's what I'm going to take. Roma draw no bet. I think they can win this one.
Yeah, I like that, Jordan. I think you got to be on Roma in some way. I was scared off by that quarter of a goal. I think this has moved already a little bit, so you got in at a good time. Because I remember seeing the draw no bet was like -140 or something when I was looking. But yeah, might as well take Roma on the money line. I think they're going to win the game at home here, plus 145. I didn't end up taking a play on this one because Juventus, they scare me. I mean, they came back in that match. It was so crazy. They had a chance to really end it, and in regular time with the McKennie assist to some no-name guy who couldn't pass it into the corner of the net. Yeah, and the red card, I mean, just brutal. I really hope they don't fire Spalletti. I hope they let him have a little time because I think he's a good manager and I think he can get a tune out of this Juventus. But this year, they're eliminated from Champions League. Let's just go ahead and try to get Champions League spots. So because of that, do they set up really defensively somehow? And this is a fucking slog, which we could absolutely see. So I'm just not touching it. I'm staying away. Staying away.
Dev, you mentioned Spalletti, and you and I talk a lot about the vampire managers of the game, like Arteta, Unai Emery, guys who were clearly vampires sleeping all day and then coming out for night matches. Perhaps the godfather of vampire managers is Luciano Spalletti. Different angle, but very Nosferatu, very like just monstrous looking. Something to consider.
Pulling up pictures of him right now.
Yeah, definitely. He may have made Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta vampires. It's possible that he made them.
Oh boy, yeah. Usually the guys we go with vampires have like a full head of hair because they've sucked the blood to keep the youth. But
this
but
is
like
Daddy Warlock here.
Yeah, exactly. This is incredible. Look, we got one more matchup for you guys before we get completely off the rails here, and it's Barcelona hosting Villarreal. This one sees Barcelona as home favorites of 1.75 goals. The total is set at 3.75. Jordan, these lines are huge. It's been a while since we've touched in on Barcelona, and they've had a mixed bag, we'll say. They're still second in, they overtook Real Madrid, I believe, right? For the top of Liga?
Yeah, they are still second, but
okay.
It is narrow. A win here, they would go above. Yeah, it has been a minute since we checked in, and I think you're right to say it's a mixed bag. We saw them getting absolutely trucked in the first leg of Copa del Rey against Atletico Madrid. They have to play the second leg of that match at home here in a few days after this match. So will they have one eye on that? Probably, but boy, that's a tall order to overturn a 4-goal deficit, even if you are at home. But we know the way this team plays. Can they be involved with a 5-0? Sure, it's possible. Doesn't seem likely, though. But as for this game, Dev, yeah, boy, some of these lines just wild. But I think it's merited. We're seeing all kinds of goals in both teams' matches here. It's not just a Barcelona thing. Villarreal sit third in the league right now. They've done it by outscoring their opponents. Big goal scorers themselves, and they never leave the back door closed, Dev. I think this is going to be an entertaining matchup. I don't think you can go any way but goals in this one unless you're really pro Barcelona here. But with that look-ahead spot, didn't want to get involved in the side, Dev. But over 3.75, that means I need 5 goals for a full cash. That's a tall order. So I split it in half, Dev, as I want to do. First half over 1.5. That's a little more palatable for me. Minus 125 on that. Just over 1.5 goals in the first half. Doesn't have to be Barca goals. Just 2 goals in the first half. Can we get it? I don't think this game's going to 5 goals unless we do get 2 in the first half. So that's where I'm going to take it. First half over 1.5 minus 125.
Nice, Jordan. Good way to find value here because I was looking at these lines and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, I'm just going to have to zag and take under 3.75. But then you look at the head-to-head numbers of these games and it's pretty crazy. Now, they did have a 2-0 Barcelona win at the reverse fixture this. Guess what we were on? Or at least what I was on in that one, I remember. Was an over. Because before that, you had 3-2, 5-1, 5-3. So, yeah, could see some more of that, but the numbers are too scary for me, so I stayed away. But that's going to do it for us, you guys. That's all the matchups we are covering this week. Thank you so much for joining us, those of you watching live. If you could just quickly throw a like on the video. Just go on YouTube, throw a like on X, wherever you are. Throw a like. Helps us out and goes a long way to giving you good karma for your bets. But, Jordan, look, before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, Dev. because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
All right, well, let's go ahead and throw up the official plays video. Those of you watching, we will see the plays on the board, and I'll read them out for the podcast listeners. Jord, I got only plus signs in front of my prices here. Plus only a couple evens, but only plus money. It starts with Bayern Munich on the money line, parlayed with both teams to score, plus 150. Arsenal Chelsea, first half draw, plus 140. Leeds United against Manchester City, both teams to score, and over 2.5 at even money. Erling Haaland to assist in that game, plus 550. Come on. West Ham United, plus a goal and a quarter at even money. Crescension, it says here. Crescension Somerville. One shot on target is plus 120. And Man United Crystal Palace under 2.75 at plus 103. Almost entirely EPL card. Only Bayern making it from the other leagues. But what do you got, Jordan?
Indeed, Devin. Crescension is what we call him now, that he's scoring and assisting in every match. He's become a Terminator version of himself. Crescension. I've got Bayern Munich -1 on the Asian handicap at even money. I've got Arsenal -1 on the Asian handicap at plus 103. I've got West Ham United plus 1.5, more cowardly than Dev, on the Asian handicap -129. But I've got a big money play here, Dev. I've got West Ham to score the first goal against Liverpool at plus 187. Murder was the case that they gave me. Manchester United -1 on the Asian handicap at minus 108. Roma as a pick, 0.0 on the Asian handicap, minus 118. And finally, Barcelona Villarreal first half over 1.5 at minus 125.
Hell yeah, Jord. Thank you guys so much for watching along, hanging out with us. Those of you in the chat, we do appreciate it. Please give us a like, a follow, subscribe wherever you are. We appreciate it. And Jord, any last words for the people?
Just to extend from that, I'll say, and if you listen on Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a preferential review, a 5-star review if you would. We prefer you to leave us a 5-star review and then talk shit to us or roast us in the comments. We read out all of the 5-star reviews that we receive. If you're on Spotify, watching or listening, leave a comment. Talk to us there. We didn't even know we were getting comments there for a while. We're starting to respond to those much later than they came in. Guys, bet responsibly. Do manage that bankroll. Always gamble responsibly, not just with soccer, but in general. It's not worth ruining your life over. So enjoy it. Have fun. Treat it like it's entertainment. And let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.